Hey friends, this is Jordan with O & Co Games. We are working on a precision platformer called Tethergeist, and when I say working, I mean really working. Blood, sweat, and tears on this thing. Based on the work that we've done so far, people seem to really like it as we've showcased it at places like PAX West, Next Fest, The Mix, and my local farmers market. All these pretty important folks have only had great things to say about it, and if you're into 2D platformers, I think there's a good chance you'll like it. The demo is on Steam, and you can use the link below to go test it out and wishlist it if you're interested. Anyway, marketing stuff aside, I'm about to say the most cliche thing an indie game developer can say, but I was wrong about how long it's going to take to finish Tethergeist. It's going to take a bit longer.
Hip hip!
A few devlogs ago, I optimistically said we were aiming for a release date in June, and it's clear at this point that is absolutely not going to happen. However, we're still feeling really good about releasing the game in 2025, hopefully only a few months later than the original June target. So the natural question to follow is, well, Jordan, why is Tethergeist going to take longer to finish? I could give you a bunch of different answers about managing scope or needing to rework things after playtesting, but the real answer, if I truly boil everything down, is that we don't want to rush this. We don't want some arbitrary timeline to get in the way of the quality of the game we're producing. Now, obviously we don't want to take forever, and we eventually need to finish it. Perfect is the enemy of complete. But at the same time, we know what we're capable of creating, and if it takes extra time to achieve the level of quality we believe we can achieve with Tethergeist, it's worth it to us. So with that bit of news out of the way, I want to share just a bunch of random stuff that we've done since the last devlog, and it's a lot. I want to show you guys this stuff because, well, partially to help justify the delay by showing you how productive we've been, and partially because it's just fun showing stuff we're working on. So perhaps the most prominent progress we've made has been on Chapter 2 of Tethergeist. This is the chapter that has these slingshot jellyfish things. Last devlog, I shared our process for brainstorming and creating these wireframes in-game, and for Chapter 2, while we've finished the first half, hence the artwork is all in right here, we're just barely building the second half, so we're on the playtesting step of the process for these specific level designs. In the past, we've done a lot of moderated playtests where we jump on live calls with our playtesters, but with this round, we emailed builds out and just asked our testers to send back recordings of them playing through it. We ended up with a 50% response rate when we sent that email out, which is just amazing. All of these recorded playtesting videos have been extremely insightful, and we have tons of notes and changes we'll be making to our level designs. So to our playtesters that may be watching this, we just can't thank you enough. This is, after all, our secret sauce. Beyond playtesting Chapter 2 levels, we've also wrapped up the early brainstorming sessions of all of the level designs for Chapter 3. This is the chapter with the fireball mechanic that lets you burst through walls, ride these Ferris wheel things, and bounce off of hot pipes. And just as an aside, for anyone who missed it in past devlogs, we've playtested every chapter's mechanics pretty thoroughly from a concept testing standpoint. So as we start designing the actual levels like we're doing here in Chapter 3, we're already coming from a place of relatively high confidence that the gameplay will be fun. We just need to nail down the layouts of the levels that are going to go into the final game. With that in mind, we've also begun brainstorming level designs for Chapter 4, which might be my personal favorite chapter. I just feel like the mechanics of this one are super fun. So anyway, within the next few weeks, we should be getting close to having all of Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 built in-engine as wireframes ready for their first round of playtesting. More to come on that very, very soon. And the last thing I want to mention in this video is the improvements that we've been making to our cinematics engine, or in other words, like the whole custom system we've built in GameMaker to allow us to include the kinds of cutscenes we want to have in Tethergeist. Up until recently, a lot of the cinematics were pretty custom built, cutscene by cutscene. I had a semblance of a system in place, but it was really common for Noah to propose a cutscene that required functionality I just didn't have in place yet. So in that light, I would have to go make a custom built solution to fit that specific cutscene. Well, as of this devlog, that sloggy process is no more. Noah and I worked together to create a scalable system that will allow him to implement all of our cinematic moments without having to write a single line of code. I mean, maybe there's some copy paste happening here and there, but that's close enough, right? Anyway, for the sake of this devlog, I won't get into the technical details of how it all works, but just to show you at a high level what's going on here, I built a spreadsheet with functions that populate cells with auto-generated code, so Noah can add all of the animation sprites sprites and dialogue from this spreadsheet and kind of copy the code he needs into GameMaker. We are using a combination of objects and sequences made in the sequence editor to animate and time all of the character movements and cutscenes, and we have a bunch of custom broadcast messages we can use to make the objects in-game behave in specific ways during the cutscenes. It might feel a little convoluted to an outsider, but it's a system that is proving to work pretty darn well for us, and it's definitely way more efficient than the old way of custom making each specific cutscene. So we're pretty excited to have this in place. Noah and Ray have already written the whole story, which is a massive undertaking, by the way, and it's just starting to feel real, seeing the story starting to come to life in GameMaker. Anyway, that's all I've got for this devlog. As per usual, there are tons of other things that we've done that I just didn't quite have time to get to in this video. Things like the insane amounts of progress Noah and Ray have made on artwork, hiring Adrian, a sound effect designer who worked at Pixar, and getting some pro work done on shaders from Jonathan, who happens to be the lead programmer and designer on Fields of Mystria. But all of those things are far too big to cover in this little video, so I'll just leave it at sneak peeks for now. Just subscribe so you can catch those videos when we make them. If Tethergeist looks like a game that you'd be into, we'd love to have you head over to Steam and drop us a wish list. We also have a Discord server where you can chat with us directly. All of the links you'll need are in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.